Sleep starts with a visit to the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds, online at justbedsinc.com.
It's the 5K for everyone. 92.7 WMAY invites you to the Fat Ass 5K and Street Party for charity. Saturday, May 13th, a race route that includes beer, corn dogs, donuts, ice cream, live music, and more. Register now and save $10 when you use the code.
Remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local. Fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unheal. While a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system, cancer surgery doesn't have to be. Now there's Edge Radiosurgery at HSHS St. John's Cancer Center. Edge technology breaks down tumors non-invasively. No incision or hospital stay required. Now that's the kind of news you want to hear. Learn more about the Edge and our comprehensive cancer treatment plans at st-johns.org/edge. Edge Radiosurgery is not appropriate for all cancers. Serious side effects including fatigue and skin irritation can occur. Treatment times may vary.
Welcome to Green Certified West, where the cars we sell are simply the best. Located on the corner of Veterans and Isles, our certified vehicles will make you smile mile after mile. We've got a team that is just plain fun. Our GOAT Squad is ready to get the job done. Have you heard of the GOAT quote? We're buying cars that'll make us gloat. Simply log on to greencertifiedwest.com and take a look. Your instant GOAT quote offer will be off the hook. So would you shop for your next ride with the GOAT Squad at Green Certified?
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Nice spring day today. Sunny skies, high near 75, low around 53 tonight. Tomorrow, afternoon and evening showers with a high near 66, low around 54. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 75, low around 61. Sunday, chance of showers, high near 86. And Monday, chance of showers, high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
If you have a security system, give this a try. Call them and see what their response time is. Can you talk to a real live person 24 hours a day, even weekends and holidays? Are they prompt to follow up with your service requests? Barcom Security is winning customers by outstanding performance on all of those fronts. Every second counts. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
This is the Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week, sponsored by Barcom Security.
Hi, I'm Officer Drew Zabados, Crime Stoppers Coordinator for Sangamon and Menard Counties. This week, Crime Stoppers is seeking information to assist the Springfield Police Department reference a shooting that occurred near the 100 block of North Wesley in Springfield around 3:28 p.m. on April 8th, 2023. Officers responded to the area for a report of shots fired. During the incident, officers were advised a 6-year-old victim had been shot and had arrived at a local hospital where they were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Crime Stoppers needs your help solving this case. If photos become available, they will be posted on our website, cashfortips.us. If you can identify a suspect, suspects, or any vehicle involved, call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 217-788-8427. Submit a tip on our website or use the P3 mobile app. If your tip results in an arrest, you could receive a cash reward up to $2,500. Remember, Crime Stoppers only want your information, not your name.
Catch a criminal, get a reward. Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard County, sponsored by the Springfield office of Barcom Security. BarcomSecurity.com. Have a secure day.
You love sharing time with your kids, but sometimes sharing space is a different story. When it's time for a larger home, Heartland Bank will work with you to find the right-sized loan. What would you do with the extra breathing room? When you're ready to make a move, Heartland Bank is here to help. Apply for a loan online or contact one of our mortgage bankers to get started.
Heartland Bank is an equal housing lender.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, it is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Got to make sure that this is going on. Check 1, check 2. I'm not sure if we're going through, but would love for anybody who is listening on the FM channel, 92.7 FM. Let me know how we're coming through here. As the music dies out, we're in a new studio where I'm actually remotely broadcasting. So I'm this is the first time I've ever done this at home. We'll see how this goes. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in as I took the past week off. But we're back at it and a lot to get to. I missed a lot after having a full week off. But there's tons that we got to get to, including the latest in gun litigation and where we're at with the gun ban and also the trajectory of these various cases that we're seeing play out in the courts. In the Southern District, in the Northern District, in the appellate courts, and those are just the federal cases. So a lot to cover there. So I want to be able to make sure that we're all set and ready to go. And this remote broadcast today and tomorrow as well. Get all the bugs worked out. But here we are, ready to rock and roll. So where do we start? Just a review of some of what I missed while I was gone. Of course, you've got the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court, Judge Stephen McGlynn, issuing a preliminary injunction against Illinois' gun and magazine ban. And that's very much something that a lot of people have been waiting for since he heard the case last month in the Southern District down in East St. Louis. So while the gun owners are celebrating across the states, going out to their local shops to purchase firearms and magazines, you've got a lot of questions still remaining as to how gun bans elsewhere are being impacted by this, and especially in the case where you have a gun shop in Naperville suing the city there over their gun ban. That's working its way through the courts as well. So there's a few things we got to make sure that we're ready to go and have this all set up and ready to rock. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we've got a lot to get to. We'll hear from Gun Owners of America. We'll hear from the National Gun Rights Association. We'll also connect with Todd Vandermeide a little bit later on today. And we got to also delve into all of the stuff that's not gun related when it comes to the state legislature and what kinds of things they're going to be doing in the aftermath of the ComEd 4 trial that culminated in guilty verdicts across the board for 4 people closely associated with House Speaker Michael Madigan, the former leader of the Illinois House and the former leader of the Democratic Party of Illinois. So he's on trial next year. We've got the verdicts now in the case brought against 4 associates. So that very much is something that we're going to have to unpack and hear more about. We've also got ongoing concerns about undocumented migrants coming to the state of Illinois from other states where there's a large number of people crossing the border, especially with Title 42 getting ready to expire, and how that's impacting Illinois taxpayers. So we'll hear a little bit about that and so much more. Stay tuned. It's right here on WMAY with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Let's see if we can take a phone call here. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
You got dead airwaves going on.
All right, so we definitely have something going on here. He can hear me, but I don't. Well, actually, let me double check here. Can you hear me? Check 1, check 2.
Nope.
You can't hear me on the air, but you can hear me on the phone.
Yes.
All right, so here we are troubleshooting. Appreciate that. We'll definitely take a break real quick and get this figured out on WMAY. Broadcasting remotely, the live stream people can hear, but not on the airwaves where it matters. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more on WMAY.
apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone, so prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4, Verdon, and online at hendricks.tv.
Hats off to our donors. Right now, when you donate blood, we'll give you a limited edition navy blue Impact Life baseball hat or a $10 gift card voucher to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a gift. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Lavina Roach. I was married for almost 65 years, and I have 4 kids, 5 grandkids, and 5 great-grandkids. I've been here for 5 months. It's so clean. Everybody's wonderful. It makes you feel more like home. And I don't think there's any place in town that's as nice as this one.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Lotterback Man here. I'm the hulking, handsome man standing out front of Lotterback Tire and Auto. At Lotterback Tire, we sell tires. Maybe that sounds obvious to you, but when I say tires, I just don't mean those rubber things on your car. We're exceptional at that, but we also have tires for trailers, motorhomes, and those adorable little tires on your lawnmower. Now, where else will you find those kinds of choices, One place made for people who need tires on anything that needs tires, Lotterback Tire. We also have tires on our comfy shuttle van. That means while our expert technicians are working on your car, truck, or lawnmower, we'll shuttle you wherever you need to go. I mean, within reason. We're not going to drive you to Germany or anything like that. That's silly. Nothing to see there anyway. When you need tires for anything that needs tires, come to Lotterback Tire. Lotterback Tire and Auto Service on Wabash. Drive safely now. On tires.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it?
ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
All right, head over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll, which asks about on this May 4th, which of the Star Wars original trilogy is your favorite? A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi? Looks like most of you so far this morning like Return of the Jedi. So go sound off on that. We will update you all throughout the morning here on WMAY. All right, let's do that poll again here on WMAY, Springfield's Morning News. Go check it out, WMAY.com/poll. On this May 4th, which of the Star Wars original trilogy is your favorite? A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi? Right now, most of you say Return of the Jedi. Go vote at WMAY.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, back at it. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, back live in the saddle, but not at the Riverton Ranch. I'm actually in a remote location, back in my home office after being off for the past week. Tons to get to here on Springfield's Morning News, so I appreciate everybody visiting back with us. And, of course, you can always call in live and local at 217-629-7970, or you can email me, bishoponair@gmail.com. That's the phone number where you can sound off and have your voice heard. We're also streaming, WMAY.com. You can find my social media links, either YouTube or Facebook, even WMAY News on Facebook. But, of course, tons to get to here after having the past week off. So you've got the ongoing questions of litigation against Illinois' gun ban. And that is where you've got the Southern District of Illinois, the judge there, Stephen McGlynn, issuing a preliminary injunction against Illinois' gun ban. That was on Friday, and here we are now, days into it, where you've got people who took it upon themselves to go and purchase firearms. And I talked with Luis Valdez, who is with Gun Owners of America, and he shared some of his thoughts as to what this means for gun owners in Illinois. Here's Luis Valdez from Gun Owners of America.
This is a tremendous...
And let me fix that.
This is a tremendous step in restoring Illinois' gun owners' Second Amendment rights, first and foremost. You had the governor wanting to pass a draconian piece of legislation to strip them of their Second Amendment rights, and here you had a federal court rule against the governor, rule against the anti-gun forces within the state of Illinois, and clearly state that we, the people, have the right to keep and bear arms.
So this case obviously is far from over. This is just a preliminary injunction, which halts the law while the case is being dealt with. So the merits of the case expected to move forward. That's why the judge, Stephen McGlynn in the Southern District, issued that preliminary injunction. Now, this case obviously still working through the process. You've got the state filing a stay with McGlynn to see if he will reverse that while it's on appeal. McGlynn laid out a schedule for them to actually go through and file briefs and take care of the questions that are raised about the question of a stay. Well, the state apparently didn't like that and actually motioned with the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals to step in and then reverse McGlynn's decision for a preliminary injunction, because you have a lot of individuals who, since the preliminary injunction was in place, they went and purchased firearms at their firearms store and expanded magazines or standard magazines. Luis Valdez from Gun Owners of America, he says that the arguments that are going back and forth are pretty clear to gun owners.
The anti-gun forces within Illinois, they were using older judicial practices such as balancing interests, which the Supreme Court in NYSERPA v. Bruin has ruled doesn't fly anymore.
the courts must now use text, history, and tradition to establish if gun laws are constitutional or not, if they pass constitutional muster. The governor and his Democrat allies were trying to use balancing interests, basically claiming that certain firearms were unusual and extra dangerous, which first and foremost is hogwash. But secondly, they had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that anything and everything they wanted to push went and stood with the text, history, and tradition of the Second Amendment, which basically says that if it didn't exist in 1791 when the Constitution was enumerated, then it doesn't fly by today's judicial standards. And an assault weapons ban clearly would not fly because the Founding Fathers at the signing of the Constitution and its ratification, there was no gun ban on any level, both federal or on the state level at the time. And we just literally fought a revolution against king and tyranny, against the crown, for tyrannically ruling that the people couldn't own firearms. So today, this is a major win and a major step. Is it possible that the state of Illinois will appeal this? Very, very possible, but in the end, this is a good step in the right direction.
And again, the state did appeal that stay, and McGlynn, he took the appeal, and the injunction that he issued, the state once put a stay on that, essentially halting the injunction from taking effect, which it's in effect right now. There's some questions about how that's being translated by the Illinois State Police, so we'll obviously get an update on that at some point, and how they're going about reacting to this. Are they enforcing the gun ban, or are they complying with the preliminary injunction? But the state wanted to essentially hold that preliminary injunction while it was being appealed, and McGlynn took that stay request, put out a schedule. The states then went to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. So this is all within the past week, and now has asked the state's Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals for the federal courts to step in and intervene here. Luis Valdez with Gun Owners of America expects that to continue, but ultimately he says after Friday's ruling, a preliminary injunction on the gun ban, halting the gun ban from taking effect, essentially, they're happy. He says that puts the gun owners on a offensive position instead of a defensive position.
I see this heading towards the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, and I believe that the Seventh Circuit should rule favorably for gun owners, especially because of the NYSERPA ruling, the NYSERPA v. Bruin ruling, with text, history, and tradition, no more, no less. The gun grabbers are now on the defensive. They have to prove that their gun control schemes are constitutional. No longer are gun owners on the defensive footing. We are now on the offensive footing. We are now able to prove that, hey, this is constitutional. We, the people, have the right to keep and bear arms. We have the right to own firearms. We have the right to own AR-15s. We have the right to own standard capacity magazines and not these neutered 10-round only magazines. And the gun grabbers they're basically between a rock and a hard place.
So, Luis Valdez, Gun Owners of America, laying out a initial reaction to last Friday's preliminary injunction put in place, blocking the state from enforcing the gun and magazine ban until another court acts. Will McGlynn hear arguments about whether he should reverse his preliminary injunction while it's on appeal? That's a question that obviously we'll see play out in the next few days here as briefs are being filed. But obviously this is going to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals after it's dealt with at the circuit court level down in the Southern District of Illinois federal courts. But that's not the only case. You've got the Naperville case also, where there's been a lot of movement, and even a case out of Cook County, which while I was on break, you had Herrera, who is suing, a doctor who is suing the city, county, and state over the gun ban. You had the Northern District of Illinois courts side with the states and with Cook and Chicago. So that case is also at play at the Northern District and the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. But with the case out of Naperville, an interesting thing that we'll definitely get to here in a moment about how that case is now being thought and considered by the U.S. Supreme Court after the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals denied a motion to issue a preliminary injunction against Naperville's ban. So this obviously is a fluid situation. Regardless, the top line here is that gun owners in Illinois are safe from enforcement of Illinois' gun ban after Judge Stephen McGlynn in the Southern District issued a preliminary injunction last week. So coming back, we'll hear from the Naperville case and what exactly is the next step there, where they have now the U.S. Supreme Court considering putting a preliminary injunction on Naperville's gun ban, because while the state ban there's an injunction against enforcement, they are enjoined from enforcing the law. The local bans are still in effect in Naperville, Highland Park, Deerfield, Cook, Chicago, and so on. So we'll get to that coming up here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. Now 6:30, and let's get a headline check.
By minors. One of the franchise owners says in a statement that the 10-year-olds were just visiting a parent on the night shift. The investigations are part of an ongoing effort by the Labor Department's Wage and Hour Division to stop child labor abuses in the Southeast region. McDonald's called the reports unacceptable and deeply troubling. The Kidseum of Health and Science is getting the money it needs for roof repairs, but the process of securing the money proved to be a nail-biter. The Children's Museum in downtown Springfield had sought approval of an $88,000 city grant on emergency passage Tuesday night, saying it needed the funding before its bids on the project expired, which would have resulted in delays and additional cost. 8 votes were needed for passage, but Ward 3 Alderman Roy Williams Jr. voted present. Williams said he felt no need to support a project in Alderwoman Lakeisha Purchase's ward when she's voted against several key projects in his ward. But at the last minute, John Fulgenzi, who had participated in the meeting remotely but had dropped off the call, was recruited to call back in and cast the deciding vote in favor of the Kidseum project. A Beardstown city worker has been arrested on charges of theft and official misconduct. The arrest of 41-year-old Melissa Espinosa resulted from an investigation launched in January by Illinois State Police at the request of Beardstown city officials. The state police obtained an arrest warrant Monday, and Espinosa was booked on 2 counts of theft and 1 count of official misconduct. A press release from Illinois State Police did not indicate how much money was involved or what position Espinosa had with the city. Espinosa is currently free after posting 10% of a $100,000 bond. Springfield's fire chief is offering more details about what his firefighters faced as they responded to Monday's deadly dust storm pileup on Interstate 55 south of Springfield. The fire department's hazmat unit was dispatched to the scene for a report that a tanker containing hazardous substances had caught fire. Chief Brandon Blau says it turns out the report was erroneous, chalking it up to the chaos and confusion in the early moments after the chain reaction crash. But crews did have other hazmat issues to deal with, including a semi that caught fire while hauling a load of lithium batteries, which began to explode from the heat. More than 20 Springfield firefighters on the scene also worked to keep spilled diesel fuel and other hazardous materials from getting into nearby streams, at one point using pallets of kitty litter from one of the semis that was disabled in the wreck to absorb the spills. Fire crews also helped to extricate crash victims from the vehicles, working in near zero visibility conditions because of the dust and smoke. 7 people died and dozens were injured in that multi-vehicle crash about 20 miles south of Springfield. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine. Saving lives.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go. Keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Nice spring day today. Sunny skies, high near 75, low around 53 tonight. Tomorrow, afternoon and evening showers with a high near 66, low around 54. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 75, low around 61. Sunday, chance of showers, high near 86. And Monday, chance of showers, high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Order your sub from the new Head West in-store kiosks, and you get a free brownie. Free brownie!
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Welcome to Green Certified West, where the cars we sell are simply the best. Located on the corner of Veterans and Isles, our certified vehicles will make you smile mile after mile. We've got a team that is just plain fun. Our GOAT Squad is ready to get the job done. Have you heard of the GOAT quote? We're buying cars that'll make us gloat. Simply log on to greencertifiedwest.com and take a look. Instant GOAT quote offer will be off the hook. So would you shop for your next ride with the GOAT Squad at Green Certified?
As a state employee, you work hard to make Illinois a better place. At Health Alliance, we do too. It's our Illinois roots that set us apart. Our HMO plan for state of Illinois employees features the doctors and hospitals you know and trust. So whether you're a first responder in O'Fallon or a staffer in Springfield, Health Alliance is the obvious choice for your state employee coverage. Learn more at healthalliance.org/state of Illinois. The benefit choice period ends May 31st.
Get ready for your next outdoor adventure with big savings at Menards. Get 11% off tents, coolers, flashlights, bug spray, and much more. Plus, stock up with snacks for s'mores. Pick up a bag of campfire marshmallows for just 99 cents. Graham crackers for $3. And a 6-pack of Hershey's candy bars for $4.99, all after 11% off. Good through May 7th, savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. They say the British do royal weddings and royal funerals better than anyone. Well, on May 6th, they might just outdo themselves with the first royal coronation in more than half a century, as Prince Charles is officially anointed King Charles III. The Dorchester Hotel has draped itself with the same decorations and royal colors used for Queen Elizabeth's coronation, even offering the King's favorite drink in the bar, the Sovereign Martini. The Royal Lancaster is offering British coronation tea, dedicated to Charles, and the Lanesborough, where the coronation will pass by, is offering a 5-course King's Coronation Celebration dinner. Airline bookings for the festivities from the U.S. are up more than 37%, so you might have to celebrate back home. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credits.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
preliminary injunction in place with a lot of people heading out to their local gun stores to buy semi-automatic rifles, handguns, or shotguns, and also magazines over a certain capacity. And that injunction in place still to this date after being issued late Friday last week. Back at it, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. In a remote location, I'm actually in a home-built studio here that I threw together in about a day and worked out all the bugs, so I appreciate everybody chiming in. But a lot to get to. Of course, we heard Luis Valdez from Gun Owners of America talking about what this means for gun owners in Illinois when it comes to this preliminary injunction being put in place. Here is Luis Valdez.
This is a tremendous step in restoring Illinois' gun owners' Second Amendment rights, first and foremost. You had the governor wanting to pass a draconian piece of legislation to strip them of their Second Amendment rights, and here you had a federal court rule against the governor, rule against the anti-gun forces within the state of Illinois, and clearly state that we, the people, have the right to keep and bear arms.
So Valdez obviously making the point that the ban is not enforceable at this moment. And as we talked about and as you've read about, now the state appeals to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals with a question to put a stay on enjoining the state from enforcing the gun ban. And over the weekend, the past few days, a lot of images of gun stores across Illinois that have a lot of customers waiting in line to purchase certain types of semi-automatic weapons and magazines of a certain capacity. This after having months upon months since January 10th, the inability to purchase those items. And of course, you do that at a federally licensed gun store. But in Illinois, they also have to have a state license to operate. So some gun stores might be apprehensive about actually recognizing that preliminary injunction that's in place. So we may hear a little bit about that apprehension later on. We're going to talk with Todd Vandermeide. But that's from the Southern District of Illinois, where Stephen McGlynn issued that preliminary injunction against the gun ban. And so you have that playing through the courts, but you have local bans that are in place. In Naperville, for instance, Law Weapons and Robert Beavis suing the city of Naperville last year and amending his complaint to also challenge the state's ban. That was decided in February with a Northern District judge siding with Naperville and the state, upholding the weapons ban. And then you had an appeal to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals where Beavis et al., they asked the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals to put a stay or a preliminary injunction on Naperville's ban, which the Seventh Circuit denied that motion. So that asks, some questions as to how the Seventh Circuit's going to react to the Southern District with the preliminary injunction in place. But back to the Naperville case, since that preliminary injunction was denied by the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, it's still going to be appealed and go through that appellate process. But the plaintiffs in that case, they filed with the U.S. Supreme Court a motion to have a preliminary injunction in place against Naperville's ban while the case plays out. Here's Hannah Hill from the National Foundation for Gun Rights talking about what this appeal ultimately means and how her clients and the plaintiffs in Naperville and elsewhere where there's local bans are in place are being impacted by all of this.
So we filed essentially an appeal for emergency relief from the Naperville Ordinance and from the Illinois assault weapons ban. So what we're asking the Supreme Court to do is to step in and to give us an immediate suspension of both of these laws. So the legal term for it is an emergency application for injunction pending appellate review. What that essentially means is that we want the Supreme Court to step in and hit the pause button on both of these laws while the Seventh Circuit is considering whether or not to give us a preliminary injunction, which would then suspend the laws for the remainder of the case.
So these cases still very much fluid, moving through the process, being decided in one court one way, being decided in another court another way. You've got a preliminary injunction in place while all of this is being appealed to the Seventh Circuit. and the Naperville case being accepted by the U.S. Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett making this decision to accept that pleading from the plaintiffs in Naperville. And if you check out the statement here from the Gun Rights of America and the National Foundation for Gun Rights, you'll see that they announced earlier this week Justice Amy Coney Barrett requested further response from the city of Naperville for their assault weapons ban. And the National Association for Gun Rights with the National Foundation for Gun Rights arguing that the Illinois ban violates the Second Amendment to the Constitution. Hannah Hill lays out some of those arguments.
Yet, emergency relief, we have to prove three things to the Supreme Court. We have to prove that, one, our Second Amendment claims are likely to prevail. That is to say, we've got a case and that we can win it under the Constitution and under the Supreme Court's precedent. And that is absolutely the case. So this is essentially a slam dunk. Heller has ruled, the Supreme Court ruled in its Heller ruling in 2008 that the Second Amendment protects the right of citizens to own weapons in common use, like AR-15s, for self-defense. So applying that and applying last year's Bruin ruling, there is no way that this case can fail under the Constitution. So where this case gets complicated is when a judge or a court tries to wiggle their way around the very clear precedent of the Supreme Court. So as far as that test goes, what we're asking the Supreme Court to do is simply to uphold their own rulings. So yes, we absolutely are likely to prevail on our Second Amendment claims. Second test is that we have to prove that denying us relief would lead to irreparable injury, as you mentioned. And that there are two sides to that coin. The first side is that a right delayed is a right denied. As the Supreme Court itself has said, the Second Amendment is not a second-class right subject to a completely different body of guarantees. Subject to a completely different set of rules as other Bill of Rights guarantees, like the right to free speech and the right to freedom of religion, et cetera, et cetera. But so essentially, typically the courts will consider that if you can prove that a law is trampling on a constitutional right, you are creating an irreparable injury every day that unconstitutional law is in effect. But there's also more. Our plaintiff, Robert Beavis, who owns Law Weapons and Supply in Naperville, is facing the loss of his business as long as the Naperville AR-15 sale ban is in place and as long as the state assault weapons ban is in place. So we've been trying to get both of these laws suspended for months, and month after month, he is facing the loss of the majority of his business. He's taken financial hit after financial hit. And if he doesn't get relief soon, he is facing the loss of his business simply because his local and state government decided that they did not like his business. They did not like a constitutionally protected product, and they don't like the people who choose to buy and acquire them for lawful purposes. So that is how we're showing irreparable injury if we don't get this relief. And then the third test is that granting relief would not harm the public interest. And that one's a slam dunk because protecting constitutional rights is not only does that not harm the public interest, it is always in the public interest to uphold Bill of Rights guarantees. And so that one is very, very easily proven. And that's essentially what our legal team is telling the court. So it's a very straightforward filing. It is a legal long shot because the Supreme Court doesn't often like to weigh in before the lower court processes are finished. But we are hopeful that since we can make such a strong showing on all three of these tests, we are hopeful that we will be the exception to the rule and that the Supreme Court will step in to uphold the Second Amendment in Illinois.
So the Supreme Court did accept the motion and has now requested more information from Naperville, which, this is just the first part of this process. While it still plays out in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, the Naperville plaintiffs are simply asking the U.S. Supreme Court to step in and issue an injunction on Naperville's gun ban. Now, again, the Illinois gun ban, not enforceable at this moment while it plays out in the courts after Stephen McGlynn issued that preliminary injunction, and a lot of gun stores across the state seeing a boost in sales because of it. People who weren't able to purchase a semi-automatic rifle or a magazine of 30 rounds, they went to the gun stores and purchased those items that they may have put off purchasing because of the gun ban. But here we are. Now with the local ban still very much up in the air and the questions around how those are going to play out in the courts, we'll be watching that very closely here. A lot of moving pieces, and these are just the federal cases, not even the state level cases, which later on this month, on the 16th of May, the Illinois Supreme Court is going to be hearing Dan Calkins' challenge to Illinois' gun ban on the grounds that it violates the issue of equal protections, essentially saying you can't carve out constitutional rights for one set of people and not allow it to be a right for others. So that's the state level case. And we'll hear those oral arguments and how they go about hearing those. But also with the federal cases, that's challenging the Second Amendment grounds, and we'll see all that play out as well. Tons of moving pieces, and we've got more to get to on all of that, including late next hour, we'll talk with Todd Vandermeide, gun rights advocate, former NRA lobbyist, host of the YouTube channel Freedom's Steel. We'll get his reaction and some of the other questions that there are still overarching when it comes to the state's gun ban being enjoined from being enforced, and how some gun stores may be reacting to that. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Got to take a break, but right now at 6:51, it's from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
A new state law could drastically increase rideshare fares and encourage frivolous lawsuits. Disguised as a safety bill, this legislation could make rideshare too expensive for many communities. It could also lead to reduced availability, removing transportation options and earning opportunities for tens of thousands in Illinois. With rising inflation and an increased cost of living, Illinois can't afford this. Tell lawmakers to keep rideshare affordable for all and oppose House Bill 2231. Paid for by Uber Technologies.
Some things just go good together, like April showers and May flowers. Shouldn't your mattress have the perfect combination of support and comfort? Burlow's hybrid mattresses offer the support and durability of an inner spring mattress, the comfort and pressure relief of a gel foam mattress. This is Caleb Kitzman with Burlow Mattress. Come in this month and save on our V7 through V11 hybrid mattresses. Pair your hybrid with an adjustable base and save even more. Here at Burlow, we're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less. Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Burlow Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Burlow, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Burlow Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $500 this month during Verlo's hybrid sale. Hurry, sale ends soon.
If you're a business owner, you probably have a lot of people who want to handle your digital business. Now, some of those people might be located in some other part of the country or beyond. At Midwest Family, it's a little different. We have all those digital resources they do. E-blast, geofencing, video production, you name it, including website upgrades and maintenance. But with us, the people spearheading the effort are right across the table from you in your office or at lunch or at the golf course. We also have a track record of success with some great businesses because the benefit of localness is accountability. And my clients will tell you that the results have been great. It's the main reason I rejoined this company not too long ago. Yeah, we sell lots of radio, and it's fun, and it works. But with a team of proven experts in the digital world, there isn't a problem we can't tackle with your help. My name is Dave Dennis. I'm an integrated marketing professional at Midwest Family. Just click MidwestFamilySPI.com. That's MidwestFamilySPI.com. And let's talk about your next step to business success in this changing world.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area. into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text PRIDE to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text PRIDE to 321321. That's PRIDE to 321321.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, back at it. Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And if you heard about that I-55 crash, a lot of us here in Central Illinois saw it and experienced it. Those elsewhere throughout the state watching on YouTube, appreciate you guys chiming in. But what a insane day that was, with the dust cloud that from dry fields here in Central Illinois being kicked up by heavy high winds, 50 plus miles an hour. It created a dust storm that we haven't seen in this area in quite some time, leading to a 100-vehicle pileup, at least, 7 dead now, last reported, and just remarkable images coming out of the state police where you could see just semis completely engulfed and wrecked after not being able to see, driving through a huge dust cloud. Just the images almost look apocalyptic, almost. And the firefighters on the scene, the vehicles that were burned, the airlifts that had to happen to get people where they need to go, to get help. Just remarkable. And this is actually literally down the street from where I'm at right now. We live, in a rural area, South Sangamon County, and this was on the I-55 between exit 80 and about 72, and just the devastation that took place, remarkable and frightening. And hats off to all those first responders from like 30 different agencies, all having to respond, and the investigation ongoing to see what may have led to the chain reaction crash and the vehicles that were burned out. So just remarkable to see the outpour of first responder activity and the investigations, with a couple of vacant lots in my area filled with all of these vehicles that are burned up. and smashed up, and a lot of people out, state police with their investigations looking into it. So, really, I think it's one of those things where you got to recognize when you're getting into a dangerous situation on the road and take appropriate precautions. All right, be safe out there always. We'll be back with more. It is Springfield's Morning News.
SDI Studios. Take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville. Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Airstrikes overnight in Ukraine, believed to be retaliation for what the Kremlin claims was an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin.
Senator Mark Warner saying that there is no indication that this, quote, came from Ukrainian forces that we are aware of. And the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv warning Americans in the region to be on high alert for Russian retaliation.
ABC's Marcus Moore. Ukrainian President Zelensky denies responsibility for the Moscow drone strike. He's in the Netherlands at the International Criminal Court in The Hague, which has issued an arrest warrant for Putin. In Atlanta, a suspected gunman is under arrest after an hours-long manhunt over the shooting and killing of a woman and the wounding of 4 others at a medical center.
It was a mix of technology, gut feelings, and tough police work that led Cobb County Police northwest of Atlanta to arrest alleged shooter Dion Patterson. Cameras showed Patterson in the area, and then they got a 911 call of a sighting. Cobb County Police Chief Stuart Van Hooser.
Technology played a huge role, but technology doesn't do any good without people who are determined.
Police say during the initial shooting, Patterson was in the medical building for only about 2 minutes. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Some relief after a stabbing spree at UC Davis near Sacramento, California. A person of interest is in custody. 3 people stabbed, 2 of them killed. Police say they have hundreds of tips but have not positively connected the attacks. Lots of questions about the release of an Oklahoma sex offender who police say got out and killed his wife, her 3 children, and their 2 friends before killing himself. 39-year-old Jesse McFadden spent more than 15 years in prison for rape.
Don't have any evidence to indicate that there was anybody else involved.
Police Chief Joe Prentice, no word on a motive. The suspect had been awaiting trial on new sex offender charges. This is ABC News.
At Fisher Investments, know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle, so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
All right, welcome back. Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk in the 7 o'clock hour. And later on, we'll talk with Todd Vandermeide, local gun rights advocate in Illinois. He's also worked with the plaintiffs in the Southern District of Illinois federal lawsuit against the gun ban. We'll get his reaction to where we're at with all of these cases and more. So that's after 7:30. But up next, let's delve into the guilty verdicts against the ComEd 4. All counts. What jurors are saying, what Republican lawmakers are saying. So stay tuned. We'll get to that. And also your calls at 217-629-7970. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. A Springfield woman has been found guilty of murder and other charges in connection with injured in that multi-vehicle crash about 20 miles south of Springfield. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. While a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system, cancer surgery doesn't have to be. Now there's Edge Radiosurgery at HSHS St. John's Cancer Center. Edge technology breaks down tumors non-invasively. No incision or hospital stay required. Now that's the kind of news you want to hear. Learn more about the Edge and our comprehensive cancer treatment plans at st-johns.org/edge. Edge Radiosurgery is not appropriate for all cancers. Serious side effects including fatigue and skin irritation can occur. Treatment times may vary.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Lavina Roach. I was married for almost 65 years, and I have 4 kids, 5 grandkids, and 5 great-grandkids. I've been here for 5 months. It's so clean. Everybody's wonderful. It makes you feel more like home. And I don't think there's any place in town that's as nice as this one.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
The shortest distance between you and a Head West sub is now through the new in-store kiosks.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Hi there, I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Nice spring day today. Sunny skies, high near 75, low around 53 tonight. Tomorrow, afternoon and evening showers with a high near 66, low around 54. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 75, low around 61. Sunday, chance of showers, high near 86. And Monday, chance of showers, high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Stay connected by visiting BLH Computers for an upgrade or repair to that system you're currently using. Laptops are available at a fraction of new prices, and all of them come with the exclusive lifetime BLH guarantee. All in-stock parts are free, and if you bought it from BLH Computers in the first place, the labor is always free. Upgrade, replace, repair at BLH Computers in Jacksonville, Taylorville, Springfield, and always online at blhcomputers.com.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local. Fly SPI.
Take the easy way out. To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
It's a spring sell down. Green Hyundai has more inventory than any other dealer in Springfield. It's time to sell down all this inventory so we can make room at our all-new Hyundai store coming soon on Stanford Avenue.
That's right, a new Hyundai, a smart buy with America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles, and all that tech that you pay extra for on cars that cost thousands and thousands more. Hey, that's all standard on a new Hyundai.
Spring sell down with 0% available or rebates up to $2,000 on select models with approved credit. New and used both on Dirksen Parkway. The #1 Hyundai dealer in the central United States. That's in a 13-state area right here in little old Springfield.
Prepare yourself and your family for the summer vacation of a lifetime now with a smart automobile purchase. A new Hyundai from Green Hyundai, 1200 South Dirksen Parkway, Springfield, Illinois.
Guilty on all 4 counts against 4 former associates of Michael Madigan, former Illinois House Speaker. Welcome back. Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Some of you listening online didn't hear. I already was previewing some clips. Apologize to those listening over the air. Those clips did bleed over the news. So listen, we're broadcasting remotely. So working out some bugs, working out some kinks. But this is a new kind of setup for me here in my home office where I've got computers all over the place, cameras, lights, and keyboards galore, and different channels going all over. So glad to be back at it after having a week off. So thanks for joining me here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. But let's get right on into it. A judge is going to determine the sentences for 4 individuals convicted of a bribery scheme in the ComEd 4 case. This is the latest, of course, after earlier this week, the guilty verdict being handed down in that case brought against 4 individuals, former Madigan confidant Michael McLean, a lobbyist, John Hooker, a lobbyist, Jay Doherty, and also a former ComEd official, Ann Pramajori, and those 4 individuals being found guilty by a jury of their peers. And this is obviously huge because what you have is this being a preview of sorts for what's going to happen with the case against Michael Madigan. So just flash back here, all right? COVID-19 happening, everything shut down. In the summer of 2020, federal prosecutors from the Northern District U.S. Attorney's Office released a deferred prosecution agreement against ComEd, where ComEd agreed that they were part of a nearly decade-long scheme to curry favor from the House Speaker in exchange for favorable legislation for the utility. So this was the allegation, and there weren't any charges right off the bat. Those charges then started to matriculate out, but you had former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan at the central of all of this, central character of this entire scheme. And the allegations were, we didn't have necessarily the evidence yet, but we knew that there was going to be a lot to come out of this. You then had a House panel convened that Republicans requested and demanded to essentially say, we need to investigate Madigan here. And I remember covering those hearings, again, in the era of COVID, where there were a lot of questions being raised and Democrats saying it was politics being involved, but Republicans saying there needs to be accountability. So they had that special investigative committee look into Mike Madigan, and they even were able to get some emails from ComEd to show conversations back and forth about little to do nothing jobs for certain individuals to help out, quote, our friend, which turned out to be the former Illinois House Speaker. So you then had 4 individuals charged, the 4 that were found guilty this week of this nearly decade-long bribery scheme. And then later on, you had Michael Madigan himself being charged with 22 counts in this scheme. So months later, you've got the trial that happened in the past 7 weeks with the ComEd 4 being found guilty. And what ultimately jurors are saying about this is they're tired of political corruption. This was after the defendants found guilty, and they could face up to 20 years in prison. Now, Madigan, he faces a jury trial next year. So how this is all going to play out, it's going to be fascinating. But a corruption expert, St. Xavier University professor David Parker, he really laid out kind of what are the next steps here in the ongoing saga of Mike Madigan and criminal accusations that have been leveled against him. Here's David Xavier from kind of giving us an overview of what's going on next in this case. Dan, go. And 1, 2, 3, go. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's do it. Where are you at? There you are.
He's got some. If I was him, if there's an indicator here that he's got some problems, maybe. That I think Trevor said there was some really convincing and robust evidence.
Now, Parker said that he wouldn't be surprised to see if Madigan's team raises issue with how the trial unfolded and maybe raising a question about a lot of media coverage on all of this.
And again, his name came up throughout the trial and all. So I don't know if they're going how they're going to posture themselves, whether or not they're going to say they can get a fair trial with all this publicity going on.
Parker also talking about how Madigan's team, they've got their work cut out for them. That's because if you look at all the evidence that was released in this case, you're talking wiretaps, you're talking videos, you're talking a whole host of things. And pretty fascinating, again, just to see some of these headlines and to hear some of these tapes from federal prosecutors releasing all of this stuff. It was just remarkable to hear just some of these conversations.
Hey, Lou, what have you decided about moving on to another career?
Well, it's always been an option for me, but I've had my sights set on other things within my current career.
And that was, former State Representative Lou Lang in leadership being asked by McLean about stepping down amid a Me Too movement. That's just one of the tapes. You had Madigan also on tape talking about how the speaker gets to do what the speaker wants to do. Those are tapes also that were released, but it wasn't just audio tapes. It was even video evidence, including of, Mike McLean talking with Fidel Marquez at a restaurant, Jay Doherty talking with Fidel Marquez about, how they do things for the speaker.
Combat money, right? I mean, for the most part.
You mean that's how we make our money?
Yeah.
Get ready. Through our rates, yes.
And, I would, for me, and again, Mike Madden is not my best friend, but if I called him right now, he'd call or he'd say, if I want to see him, I'd go see him. But my bottom line advice would be, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. With those guys.
Okay.
I don't think, you've been around the game and, and again, Madigan doesn't ask. I never, ever once had a conversation with Mike about these people.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I have every reason to believe that McLean has.
Okay.
I know Hooker has.
Okay.
Because Hooker would call me with, I didn't know these guys. I never met these guys.
Yeah.
I met Olivo because what you guys
Oh, he used to be an alderman.
Council, yeah. And Zaleski I know well.
When he was the alderman.
Yeah.
Right.
And
again, these are all different names being brought up throughout the trial as people who got little to do nothing jobs in exchange for favorable legislation. You had former lawmakers caught on tape, current lawmakers testifying to the jury, and ultimately the jury returning guilty verdicts all around in that case. And this is a real preview of sorts for what to expect next year, as David Parker, St. Xavier University corruptions experts, laid out, is very much going to be fascinating to see unfold as we await that trial of Madigan next year.
So it'd be a learning experience on both sides, the prosecution and the defense. These convictions don't bode well at all for Madigan.
So we'll hear from the Republicans at the State House what they want to see happen when it comes to ethics reforms and how they can try to get the Democratic supermajority to advance ethics reforms before they wrap up session, which is scheduled to end May 18th or the 19th of this month, so just a couple of weeks from now. Are they going to be able to get ethics reforms to curb some of this? Stay tuned. We'll talk about that coming up next on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News, and now at 7:19 from Culver's West on Wabash.
community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Some things just go good together, like April showers and May flowers. Shouldn't your mattress have the perfect combination of support and comfort? Verlo's hybrid mattresses offer the support and durability of an inner spring mattress with the comfort and pressure relief of a gel foam mattress. This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Come in this month and save on our V7 through V11 hybrid mattresses. Pair your hybrid with an adjustable base and save even more. Here at Verlo, we're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less. Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Store. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $500 this month during Verlo's hybrid sale. Hurry, sale ends soon.
The following conversation brought to you by Omega. 800-300-9ERC. That's 800-300-9372. OmegaTaxCredits.com.
I thought I couldn't get the ERC if I got the PPP loan.
Nope. If you're a business owner with 5 to 500 employees, you might be eligible.
I thought it was really difficult to apply for the ERC.
Not if you use Omega. See, Omega is an accounting firm that has been around for over 15 years. They are a true accounting firm that will have a fiduciary relationship with you and your business, and they don't get paid until you get paid.
But I'm sure it takes forever to find out if you're eligible.
Again, no. If you call 800-300-9ERC, you could learn if you're a good candidate in less than 10 minutes.
I make a call that takes less than 10 minutes, and I can find out if my company is pre-qualified to receive a tax credit up to $26,000 per employee.
During the qualifying time frame, yes.
I'm checking out OmegaTaxCredits.com right now.
This conversation was voiced by actors that belong to a company that has already filed for their ERC.
Let's check in now with Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai, standing by with their ongoing sale for the construction of a new facility. Mike, take it away. What's going on?
That's right, Greg. Hey, yeah, it's getting ready for the springtime event as Hyundai has kind of stepped up to the plate here in the 1st of May and offering rebates up to $3,750 on select Hyundai models and or 0% with approved credit. So really looking forward to spring and summer, as I know all of you are out there too. Everybody is kind of getting lonely. They want to go see their friends and their family and spend time in their vehicles and making short trips, safe short trips to the family around the area. So we've got the vehicles for you, and they're perfect. We have 11 cars under $30,000, starting as low as $22,000 on a brand new Hyundai Venue SUV, by the way, that gets over 30 miles a gallon. And that vehicle is $22,000, backed up by America's best warranty, the best warranty. 10-year, 100,000 miles. So we're trying to clear out the East Side new car inventory on Dirksen Parkway. So come on out, see us. It's the Memorial Day construction clearance sales event going on out here at Green Hyundai on Dirksen.
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai. Have a great day.
Constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Head on over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll, which asks on this May 4th, which of the Star Wars original trilogy is your favorite? A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi? And most of you saying now, The Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi had the lead earlier, but as we continue to check this out each day and each hour, go to the WMAY.com website, click on poll, and take today's daily poll. Meanwhile, while you're there, also check out how you can win a $75 flight rebate from Fly SPI Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, celebrating 75 years. All you got to do is go answer a trivia question. If you get it right, then you're entered to win. We're actually going to be drawing a name today, 7:50. I'll announce that. So stay tuned. That's coming up here. But again, find out WMAY.com/fly for the latest.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, back at it, getting reaction now to one of the stories that broke while I was out for the week, and that was the guilty verdict against all 4 of the ComEd 4, and jurors saying that, well, quite frankly, they're tired of corruption. And the case, really the defense saying that, hey, this is just kind of politics. This is how it is. But the juror saying that, no, that's not how it is. They're tired of corruption. A judge is going to determine the sentence for the ComEd 4, but all of this is a preview of what to expect from the trial expected for House Speaker Michael Madigan next year. So that's 22 counts tied in with this ComEd corruption scheme that was revealed in the summer of 2020. So it kind of shows how here we are, almost the summer of 2023, and how the wheels of justice do move slow. But when it does ultimately come to a conclusion, that hammer comes down. So guilty across the board for the ComEd 4. What does that mean for Madigan's case, which is going to be heard next year? Obviously something to watch very closely. But Republicans at the State House, in the super minority, they very much have this as what they're saying indicates the absolute necessity for there to be substantive reforms to the state's ethics and how politics are conducted in Illinois. Here is House Minority Leader Tony McCombie earlier this week reacting to the guilty verdicts. And take it away.
This guilty all charges verdict has proven what Republicans have already known. We need real ethics reform. Our system has allowed bad actors and political insiders to succeed at the expense of honest, hard-working Illinoisans. This must not continue. We have an opportunity to invoke change. For years, our caucus has put forth proposal after proposal to no avail. We hope the news today marks a distinct change in the ongoing chapters of corruption in Illinois politics. Every single Illinois lawmaker should be compelled to work with us on this, to prevent this embarrassment from continuing, to bring about honest, accountable, and trustworthy government. Ethics reform should be the General Assembly's top priority. How many indictments is too many? How many more court rulings do we need to make unethical behavior stop? We can't do this alone. We will always be ready to work, put ideas forward, and fight for what's right. To work toward a better state and an efficient, effective government that our Illinois families deserve. So I'm calling on our Democrat colleagues to work with us and to let's get this done before we adjourn.
So again, that's the House Minority Leader, Tony McCombie, reacting to the ComEd 4 guilty verdict across the board and how the need for ethics reforms are desperate for taxpayers, for ethical government. Ryan Spain, a Republican from Peoria, reiterating that during a news conference earlier this week.
And today is a sad day for Illinois. And while I'm certainly glad that justice was served, today should be a reminder on the sad state of our politics in Illinois, a state that has persisted for far too long under the leadership of Mike Madigan and unfortunately continues forward today. Again, my name is State Representative Ryan Spain. I represent the 73rd District and serve as a deputy leader for the Illinois House of Representatives in the Republican caucus. And one of the things that I've been very proud of in the years that I've served here in the legislature is that after the deferred prosecution agreement was revealed with the Department of Justice and Commonwealth Edison, I was one of 3 Republican House members that called for and convened a special investigating committee to examine the terrible deeds of Mike Madigan and his associates, the things that we've been seeing now play out in a federal courtroom in Chicago for the last 7 weeks. We convened and launched an important investigation with substantive work asking for follow-up and investigation into these matters that we've heard about in detail in the prosecution and now the guilty verdicts that have been delivered today. What was the response from the Democratic legislators that participated in that investigating committee? Cover up and sweeping the facts under the rug. Members of that investigating committee now serve as the Speaker of the House, now serve as the chairperson of the Democratic Party of the state of Illinois. This is embarrassing. For too long, we have allowed the poor ethical behavior of people like Mike Madigan, his associates, and others to become the way we do business in the state of Illinois. And unfortunately, the Madigan way is still the way in which our government works here in Springfield. It has to stop now. As the leader said, how many more indictments? How many convictions? How many people have to go to prison before Democrats in the state of Illinois will get serious about rooting out the corruption that has drug our state down for far too long? We need to examine every inch of Mike Madigan's rules that are still the rules of business for how the House of Representatives works, still to this day, even while he's gone and out of office. And we need meaningful engagement on ethics reforms that tackle many of the problems that you've seen on full display in the federal courthouse.
So again, that's Ryan Spain. He is a leader in the House Republican caucus that's looking to really tackle ethics reforms, but not just things to shore up bad behavior from lobbyists and lawmakers, but also to change the House rules so there can actually be more equity when it comes to what kinds of bills actually get heard, debated, and brought up for votes. So again, this saga, just another page being turned here. There's a lot more to happen when it comes to the ComEd 4 with sentencing, but also with the trial next year of former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan. So stay tuned is all I can say. All right, coming up, we'll talk with Todd Vandermeide. He is going to react to where we're at with all of the different litigation against Illinois' gun ban. So stay tuned. That's up next here on WMAY now at 7:34.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story is Springfield man is in custody after a search of his home. The Springfield Police Street Crimes Unit obtained a warrant for the home in the 1600 block of West Cook. Monday afternoon, officers observed 30-year-old Maurice Swan leave the home and took him into custody while they carried out the search. They found 2 Glock firearms, one with an attached laser sight. Swan was booked into the Sangamon County Jail on preliminary charges, including armed habitual criminal, unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon, and possession of a firearm without a valid FOID. A Springfield woman has been found guilty of murder and other charges in connection with a 2018 stabbing death. 54-year-old Michelle Moreno was convicted after a 2.5-day bench trial of first-degree murder and aggravated domestic battery in the killing of Stanley Seawood in March of 2018 in a home on East Capitol Avenue. Moreno faces 20 to 60 years in prison when she's sentenced in July. Ground has been broken for 2 of the 3 new fire stations recently approved by Springfield aldermen. Mayor Jim Langfelder joined the other city leaders and community partners, including representatives of O'Shea Builders, to start construction work on the new Fire Station 8 on Rickard Road and new Fire Station 6 near 11th and Ash. In March, aldermen approved spending more than $20 million to build those firehouses and a third facility on Spalding Orchard Road. No date has been set to break ground on that third firehouse. Demolition is underway for a long vacant building in the downtown Springfield Historic District after an 11th hour attempt to save it fell through. Horace Mann Insurance got approval from the city of Springfield weeks ago to demolish 2 vacant buildings on East Washington to make room for parking and green space attached to another building that Horace Mann bought and refurbished. One of the 2 buildings has already been demolished, but the Downtown Springfield Heritage Foundation tried to save the other building, saying there is historic value in its 19th century design. Horace Mann says it offered to purchase and donate the building to the foundation, but the group said it could not take it on unless it could find an investor to assume the risk and cost of renovating the structure. With no investor forthcoming, Horace Mann says it has begun to tear down the structure at 618 East Washington. The Kidseum of Health and Science is getting the money it needs for roof repair.
Busy and they seat us right away.
The cidery doesn't close till 11, so we can just finish the night there.
You've got this all figured out, don't you?
Yeah, I do. You should see my reward points that I've built up.
So you're buying, right?
I didn't say that.
That's what I heard.
No, you didn't.
Obed and Isaac's Microbrewery, located in downtown Springfield, right next door to the 7th Street Cidery. Enjoy.
It's a spring sell down. Green Hyundai has more inventory than any other dealer in Springfield. It's time to sell down all this inventory so we can make room at our all-new Hyundai store coming soon on Stanford Avenue.
That's right, a new Hyundai, a smart buy with America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles, and all that tech that you pay extra for on cars that cost thousands and thousands more. Hey, that's all standard on a new Hyundai.
Spring sell down with 0% available or rebates up to $2,000 on select models with approved credit. New and used both on Dirksen Parkway. Number 1 Hyundai dealer in the central United States. That's in a 13-state area right here in Little Old Spring.
Prepare yourself and your family for the summer vacation of a lifetime now with a smart automobile purchase. A new Hyundai from Green Hyundai, 1200 South Dirksen Parkway, Springfield, Illinois.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Nice spring day today. Sunny skies, high near 75, low around 53 tonight. Tomorrow, afternoon and evening showers with a high near 66, low around 54. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 75, low around 61. Sunday, chance of showers, high near 86. And Monday, chance of showers, high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, SPI, to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out. You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. While a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system, cancer surgery doesn't have to be. Now there's Edge Radiosurgery at HSHS St. John's Cancer Center. Edge technology breaks down tumors non-invasively. No incision or hospital stay required. Now that's the kind of news you want to hear. Learn more about the Edge and our comprehensive cancer treatment plans at st-johns.org/edge. Edge Radiosurgery is not appropriate for all cancers. Serious side effects including fatigue and skin irritation can occur. Treatment times may vary.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, a temporary hold on Illinois' law being enforced after a Southern District judge issued that temporary injunction, preliminary injunction. The case obviously means that people can go and buy firearms and certain capacity magazines at their local store while the case continues to go through the process. This obviously is in the Southern District, and the state has filed for a stay. What does all this mean? Where are we at with this case, and how are other cases across the state playing out? Somebody who's plugged into all of this and more, has been in this fight for years, is Todd Vandermeide, and he joins us now with Springfield's Morning News on 92. WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Todd, I guess let's just get right into it. Thanks for taking time with me this morning. And what's your reaction? What are you hearing out there on the ground?
It's a good day. It was a really good day on Friday. And St. Stephen, as we're starting to call him, issued an injunction against the state and basically told the state, no, you can't enforce this law. And the state is pretty upset by it. And I think they're taking a bit of an arrogant attitude. If you read the stay request that they asked, they're just like, you got it wrong and the other judges up north got it right. And I'm not sure that's the appropriate tact to take in this case.
Yeah, so when you look at the Southern District of Illinois, Stephen McGlynn, the federal judge there, hearing arguments, this obviously was April 12th, which was months after the law was enacted. And, listening to those arguments, you can kind of predict a bit of what McGlynn was going to be doing with this case. But talk about, I guess, the delay here and what ultimately happens next with the stay. Is there going to be a delay and, having filings go back and forth and then maybe a hearing about the stay? Is that why the state seems to have leapfrogged over the district, the Southern District?
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is the equivalent of a temper tantrum from a 3-year-old with the state. And I don't think they're doing their best lawyering, which I will take incompetent opponents every day of the week. And so what we've got here is they, at 11:45 on Friday night, while we were all celebrating, they asked for a stay. Okay. And when the judge did not grant them their stay at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, they had their temper tantrum. The judge on Monday issued an order saying that our side has until the 8th to respond to the state's request, 1 week. Now, if you look at all the times the state has asked for delay after delay after delay in filing things, you would think that a 1 week time period for our lawyers to marshal their arguments against the state's request is a very reasonable Well, no, they weren't happy with that. So they ran to court on Tuesday and filed a motion, an emergency appeal with the Court of Appeals. They had already filed their notice that they were going to appeal to the Seventh Circuit. Fine. But now they're doing this thing called a Rule 8 motion. And all the attorneys I'm talking to, I mean, outside of our representation within this case, are saying that the state is just abusing this Rule 8 piece, that they are out over their skis, that what they're claiming is that by the judge taking a week to deal with these issues and that the state has raised, that it is a pocket veto or constructively denying their request for a stay, and therefore they get to leapfrog Judge McGlynn, St. Stephen, and go straight to the Court of Appeals. And I don't think the court's going to buy that. I mean, it's hard to predict what the courts are going to do, but I think that their arguments are bordering on specious. And if you remember in the Heller decision, Judge Scalia sat there and said, some have made the argument bordering on the frivolous. I think we have now seen the frivolous.
We're talking with Todd Vandermeide. He is a gun rights advocate, has been in this space fighting these battles in courts and at the State House, and obviously a lot of moving pieces here, Todd, but top line is the preliminary injunction is in place statewide. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the local challenges that are still lingering as well, and how at least the Naperville case could be considered by the U.S. Supreme Court. A small part of that could be considered by the U.S. Supreme Court. But what are you hearing like from gun stores across the state? Have they had a busy week in the past 6 days?
Oh yes, there's a couple of gun stores that I stay particularly in touch with. One of them said they had their biggest weekend ever, and there is, and part of the problem is the state police have been telling dealers they can't have inventory on hand, even to service law enforcement sales who are exempt under the law. And so the shorthand is that some of the dealers don't have a lot of inventory on hand to be able to sell. And so I was at a gun store yesterday, and he just got in a pile of firearms to restock his shelves and all that. So yeah, the gun stores, things are moving again. There are some stores that are waiting for an official word from the state police. Let me tell all the dealers up there, that is not going to come. The state police have never wanted to give any advice about any law, whether it be transporting a gun or anything else. They simply refer you back to the statute and said, well, see, this is what it says, without giving you an answer. So there may be a few dealers out there who are holding back because, we are getting some reports that the state police are giving erroneous information out there. We'll be following up on that. I would really hate to see a contempt citation issued to the state police for failure to follow this judge's injunction.
Well, and it's interesting because, the state seeming to leapfrog McGlynn after asking McGlynn for the stay and trying to get the Seventh Circuit to put that stay in place. But McGlynn's giving due process, right? I mean, isn't that what the judiciary is supposed to do, is to give due process to both sides of this equation?
Well, you look at this, I mean, he took several months to come down with this injunction from the time we filed. So there's certainly, the state had its day, and now that the judge has had a hearing and heard the sides, and both sides have presented evidence, even when the state presents wrong evidence, he issued his ruling, and now, a week is too much for them to tolerate, because I think what's really going on is they are peed off at what they tried to stop. Remember, Morgan, Pritzker, everybody set up the enactment of this thing to be done, Johnny on the spot, to stop a run on gun stores. They'd seen it happen in other states. They didn't want it to happen again. So now they've got this. But yeah, the other thing is they've got the Naperville suit to contend with, and you now have a Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, sitting there saying, Naperville, you need to respond to this as to why, they aren't entitled to an injunction. I don't know that they're going to take up that case. I don't know that that case is ripe just yet. But remember, earlier this summer, the Supreme Court, gave a pointed finger to the second district, where they were, our side was winning injunctions at the district court, and then the Court of Appeals was summarily issuing stays without any reason. And Justice Thomas and Justice Alito pointedly said, you can't be doing that. And I think we're kind of in that mode here with the Naperville case. And it would be very, very interesting if Justice Barrett issued a injunction against the village in Naperville. And if she does that, I think that is a very big tell. I think if she doesn't do it, it's the case just isn't right. But, the Illinois case could be one that gets to the Supreme Court one way or another.
Well, and with the trajectory of all of these things, I mean, at least with the Supreme Court, that's just on the question of, can we have a preliminary injunction in place while this plays out? That's not on the merits in all of this. Even the Southern District case, they still have to deal with the merits of all this, right? I mean,
Correct.
So this is far from over, but as it stands right now, gun sales are allowed at gun stores across the state, with the exception of places like in Naperville.
Yeah, Naperville, because they have a local ordinance, is the outlier here. I don't see many other villages running to go do this. When Naperville first tried it and there was a push, I listened in on a couple of village council meetings, and one astute alderman in a small town sat there and said, why don't we just let Naperville fight this out? We'll see what it looks like at the end of the day, instead of us spending all this money and getting caught up in this whole racket. So yeah, these are interlocutory issues. They are not the final determination. Doesn't mean that by the time the Seventh Circuit gets done, the Seventh Circuit yesterday just issued a briefing schedule on this, and this briefing schedule runs through August. So it'll be very interesting to see how soon they grapple. Look at Naperville. Naperville filed in the Court of Appeals in February. They turned around, and the state and the Seventh Circuit issued their denial without comment sometime around April 18th, if memory serves me correct. That took a while to go. Now, remember, unlike California or New York, we're not dealing with a ban that's been in place for years. We're dealing with a ban that was just enacted, much like Washington is. And therefore, the status quo for the state would be that these guns have been allowed for 60 years. That's the status quo, not the new reset where they're verboten. So I think that Judge McGlynn has got this right. I think the state is stamping their feet on a bunch of this stuff, and it's going to get more interesting. But I'll ask you, you were in the courtroom. Whose position would you rather be in, the state's or ours, with that judge?
Well, as of right now, the gun owners in the state of Illinois are on the offensive, and the state is on the defensive. So, Todd Vandermeid, greatly appreciate it. That's all the time we've got. We'll definitely be talking again soon. Freedom's Steel, if you want to check him out on YouTube as well. Greatly appreciated, as always, and expert in this space. We'll definitely talk again soon, all right?
Hey, guys, look forward to it.
Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. Now we got to take a break and, get back to it live and local. I'm actually remote from my home studio, believe that or not, after having the week off. So plenty more to come here on WMAY.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
All right, let's announce the $75 flight rebate voucher winner from Fly SPI, celebrating 75 years, and Shelly Craigmills of Pawnee. Shelly Craigmills, or is it Craig Millis of Pawnee? You are the winner of the $75 flight rebates. Be sure to get your flight rebates, contact the radio station, and make that happen. Shelly, congratulations. And you can be a winner. All you got to do is answer a trivia question. Go to WMAY.com/fly, WMAY.com/fly.
If you prefer banking online, you'll love Heartland Bank's mobile banking app. Check balances, pay bills, transfer money, and deposit checks anytime, anywhere, from the convenience of your mobile device. This fast, free, and secure mobile banking app puts access to your personal accounts in the palm of your hand. Download Heartland Bank's mobile app from your Apple or Android app store today. Heartland Bank. Visit us at hbtbank.com.
Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Rob from Cadenza Precious Metals. Did you know that we purchase collections and estates? Our overhead is very low, which allows me to make really strong offers for your loved one's treasures. We buy coins, watches, many collectibles, diamonds, and unwanted jewelry. We can come to you, or I'll meet you in my private office. No storefront or employees allows me to pay you more. Call me and we'll chat about your particular situation. Call Rob at 217-415-5581. You will be pleasantly surprised.
You hear a lot about influencers these days. Our personalities have been influencing local purchasing decisions long before it was a hot new marketing buzzword.
Hey, my name is Ryan, and while I am new here to Springfield and QLZ and waking up at 4:30 in the morning, I have been in radio for about the last 15 years and have done endorsements in the past to help businesses grow and reach a new audience. I would be very happy to help you reach a new audience, grow your business, and help out with whatever product or service that you're selling.
Learn about all of our influencers and campaign strategy. Start the conversation today at MidwestFamilySPI.com.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
Macy's one-day sale starts tomorrow with deals of the day on gifts mom will love, like fine jewelry selections to make her day sparkle, 35 to 70% off. Shoes, handbags, and more spring accessories, 30 to 50% off. And summer-ready dresses for any occasion, $49.99 to $99.99. Plus, get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text message.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Two high-profile court cases continue this morning in New York City. The rape trial against former President Trump. Writer E. Jean Carroll claiming Trump attacked her in a department store dressing room in the 90s, which he denies. And the music copyright infringement trial against singer Ed Sheeran. Jury deliberations getting underway for a second day.
His music, note by note, chord by chord, regarding part of one song, Thinking Out Loud, which came out in 2014. He's accused of copying a Marvin Gaye and Ed Townsend song, Let's Get It On, from 1973. He testified with his guitar, which he kept leaning against the wall behind him. Often he would grab it when asked by his attorney to play and sing and show how songs could be similar but also totally different.
ABC's Michelle Charlesworth. In Atlanta, manhunt over for an alleged shooter under arrest for the killing of one woman and the wounding of 4 others.
The former U.S. service member, who police believe was the active shooter at a doctor's office in Midtown Atlanta, is in custody this morning after authorities say he killed one woman and wounded 4 others. 39-year-old Amy St. Pierre, who died, worked for the CDC.
This took multiple jurisdictions working together.
Records show that 24-year-old Dion Patterson left the Coast Guard in January.
ABC's Steve Osunsami. Meantime, there's relief after a stabbing spree at UC Davis near Sacramento, California. A person of interest is in custody. 3 people stabbed, 2 of them killed. Police investigating hundreds of tips to see if the stabbings are connected. Questions surround the release of an Oklahoma sex offender who police say got out and killed his wife, her 3 children, and their 2 friends before killing himself. The 39-year-old suspect identified as Jesse McFadden. This is ABC News.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation and irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Bixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines, such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
All right, this hour, tons more to get to, including conversations about what kinds of books can go into public libraries, but also what kinds of funds taxpayers can use to help migrants moving to Illinois. So stay tuned. That's just some of what we've got coming up. Stay on WMAY 92.7 FM and also online at WMAY.com. I'm Greg Bishop, back after a week off. Thanks for hanging out. Plenty to get to this hour.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story: ground has been broken for 2 of the 3 new fire stations recently approved by Springfield aldermen. Mayor Jim Langfelder joined other city leaders and community partners at groundbreaking for new Fire Station 8 on Rickard Road and new Fire Station 6 near Ash and 11th. In March, aldermen approved spending more than $20 million to build those firehouses and a 3rd facility on Spalding Orchard Road, which has not yet broken ground. A Springfield man is in custody after a search of his home. The Springfield Police Street Crimes Unit obtained a warrant for the home in the 1600 block of West Cook. Monday afternoon, officers observed 30-year-old Maurice Swan leave the home and took him into custody while they carried out the search. They found 2 Glock firearms, one with an attached laser light. Swan was booked into the Sangamon County Jail on preliminary charges including armed habitual criminal, unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon, and possession of a firearm without a valid FOID. Springfield's fire chief is offering more details about what his firefighters faced as they responded to Monday's deadly dust storm pileup on Interstate 55 south of Springfield. The fire department's hazmat unit was dispatched to the scene for a report that a tanker containing hazardous substances had caught fire. Chief Brandon Blouse says it turns out the report was erroneous, chalking it up to the chaos and confusion in the early moments after the chain reaction crash. But crews did have other hazmat issues to deal with, including a semi that caught fire while hauling a load of lithium batteries, which began to explode from the heat. More than 20 Springfield firefighters on the scene also worked to keep spilled diesel fuel and other hazardous materials from getting into nearby streams, at one point using pallets of kitty litter from one of the semis that was disabled in the wreck to absorb the spills. Fire crews also helped to extricate crash victims from the vehicles, working in near-zero visibility conditions because of the dust and smoke. 7 people died and dozens were injured in that multi-vehicle crash about 20 miles south of Springfield. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Hey, it's Greg Bishop. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport is celebrating 75 years in Springfield, and we have your chance to win a $75 flight voucher. This week's
Heartland, we're like a bank, but only better, cause you'll remember. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
Everywhere you are, everywhere you live, with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Nice spring day today. Sunny skies, high near 75, low around 53 tonight. Tomorrow, afternoon and evening showers with a high near 66, low around 54. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 75, low around 61. Sunday, chance of showers, high near 86. And Monday, chance of showers, high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
With a double X battery, generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery, generations of power.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, SPI to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi there. I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, back at it after having the week off. I'm Greg Bishop, broadcasting from my home studio. Good morning. Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. You can always chime in live and local and call in at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number for you to sound off and have your voice heard. So very much want to hear from you as to a lot of things happening over the past week while I was off. Everything from the preliminary injunction being issued against Illinois' gun ban to the ComEd 4 trial coming to a conclusion with the jury handing out guilty verdicts across the board, what that means for Mike Madigan and next year's trial that he faces in the ComEd corruption case. So obviously a lot of things happening and still a lot of things to cover and to tackle, including what is going on with immigration in not just the U.S., but also in Illinois, where you have the issue of whether or not taxpayers are increasingly on the hook for the ongoing issues surrounding immigrant health care, undocumented migrants being housed in Illinois, and how exactly you are paying for all of this through the taxpayers. And Governor J.B. Pritzker was asked about this earlier this week, especially when it comes to Greg Abbott from Texas sending more migrants to Chicago and how taxpayers are on the hook for this. So Governor J.B. Pritzker talking about the overall costs at a news conference, being asked about how the state's paying for all of this.
We're still talking to the incoming administration. There obviously is a administration as well. Just to be clear with everybody, we've already provided about $150 million of state dollars and services to serve those asylum seekers that are coming to Illinois. That's since August and continues on today. In January, we passed an additional supplemental appropriation that included money for the city of Chicago and for other agencies, about $90 million again, to make sure that we were providing the services necessary. We're talking about shelter, we're talking about food, we're talking about health care, and making sure that we're taking care of the initial needs that people who arrive here with those very inhumane circumstances that are being visited upon the asylum seekers in Texas. People are being basically pushed onto buses and sent to Chicago. Many of the folks who arrive aren't intending to end up in Chicago. They didn't have that in their mind when they came from Venezuela or any other country from which they arrived. But somehow, because of Governor Abbott, because of a few others in Texas, they're being shipped around the country. We are a recipient of many. We're going to do everything that we can to care for them, for anybody that's arriving. But it is true that the current mayor said it, that our resources are stretched, and we've gone to the federal government. I've spoken directly with the president, with the chief of staff, with the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs and others, and they are helping to push the money from FEMA out the door to states, but it isn't enough. And you've seen New York City is inundated, Chicago is inundated, and we're going to see more people arriving. And again, we're going to do everything we can to care for them when they do arrive, but we need a better system.
And if you're familiar with William Kelly, reporter out of Chicago, he actually went to a luxury hotel and confronted some of the employees there, was told to leave. If you've seen that video circulate on social media, it's pretty compelling, especially considering that these hotel rooms aren't cheap. And the taxpayers are ultimately footing the bill. So it's not just with the taxpayers footing the bill for newly arriving undocumented immigrants coming from a place like Texas. Taxpayers are also footing the bill for undocumented migrants' health care. And this is something that we heard about a couple of weeks ago with a recent audit indicating that the cost of covering undocumented health care, undocumented migrant health care, it's in excess of hundreds of millions of dollars, including the projection of $1 billion plus for the coming fiscal year. And a Senate bill, 122, it would actually lower the age of the eligibility for whoever could get these benefits, taxpayer-funded benefits that don't have matching federal tax dollars. It would be state tax dollars using this. So if they lower that down to 19, then you can see that cost increase even more. But already thinking about the overall costs to how this is going to impact taxpayers from the just overall, coming to Illinois and being housed in shelters or luxury hotels. And then you also get the question of the overall health care. So while we see an influx of more undocumented migrants to Illinois, what about overall Illinois population? Another indicator dropping while I was gone for the past week from the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and their migration data. And it showed again, Illinois lost 105,000 residents to other states in 2020, and WirePoint's compiling this data and showing that $10.6 billion left the state in taxable income from those 105,000 people leaving the state. Here's Ted Dabrowski laying out some of what this ultimately means for taxpayers. And we'll get this queued up and fire it off. Here's Ted Dabrowski.
The average income of the people moving to Illinois make $44,000 less than the people who are leaving Illinois. So we're losing wealthier people, and the ones that come in are not as wealthy. That's a big problem, too, because it's a destruction of our tax base.
And he says it's a trend that's not just happening in Illinois, it's happening in other states as well. And there's a little bit of kind of political prognostication as to what's going on.
We did a census in 2020.
It's Governor Pritzker.
Turns out all the American Community Survey data, wrong. We gained population in the state of Illinois.
But we didn't, according to the latest IRS data. Again, Dabrowski saying that this is clearly something that happens to blue states, not to red states.
Those states that are pro-growth, low taxes, friendly to business, friendly to people, they are growing like crazy.
While states like Illinois, year after year, show population decline. So a lot of moving pieces when it comes to population. You got undocumented migrants moving into Illinois, getting taxpayer assistance, not just for housing, but also for medical services. And at the same time, you're seeing $10+ billion leave the state. So how does this all match up whenever they come to putting the budgets together? That's a great question, and I don't think one that we have a clear answer on. So a lot more to come on all of this here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Oh, tires. Maybe that sounds obvious to you, but when I say tires, I just don't mean those rubber things on your car. We're exceptional at that, but we also have tires for trailers, motorhomes, and those adorable little tires on your lawnmower. Now, where else will you find those kinds of choices, One place made for people who need tires on anything that needs tires, Lauterbach Tire. We also have tires on our comfy shuttle van. That means while our expert technicians are working on your car, truck, or lawnmower, we'll shuttle you wherever you need to go. I mean, within reason. We're not going to drive you to Germany or anything like that. That's silly. Nothing to see there anyway. When you need tires for anything that needs tires, come to Lauterbach Tire. Lauterbach Tire and Auto Service on Wabash. Drive safely now. On tires.
A new state law could drastically increase rideshare fares and encourage frivolous lawsuits. Disguised as a safety bill, this legislation could make rideshare too expensive for many communities. It could also lead to reduced availability, removing transportation options and earning opportunities for tens of thousands in Illinois. With rising inflation and an increased cost of living, Illinois can't afford this. Tell lawmakers to keep rideshare affordable for all and oppose House Bill 2231. Paid for by Uber Technologies.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives. John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
You'll see spring sale tags everywhere at Hendricks Home Furnishings, especially with Lazy Boy recliners. Prices are cut by the hundreds, so if you're upgrading, replacing, or just adding to the remodeling project, Hendricks can save you hundreds of dollars during this spring sale. The selection on the showroom floor is better than ever too, so you're likely to find just what you need and have it in your home quickly with fast, free delivery. It's the spring sale now, where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4 Verdon, on Facebook, and on the web at hendricks.tv.
You love sharing time with your kids, but sometimes sharing space is a different story. When it's time for a larger home, Heartland Bank will work with you to find the right size loan. What would you do with the extra breathing room? When you're ready to make a move, Heartland Bank is here to help. Apply for a loan online or contact one of our mortgage bankers to get started.
Heartland Bank is an equal housing lender.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Head on over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll, which asks you on this May 4th, with it being May the 4th, which of the Star Wars original trilogy is your favorite? Is it A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi? Well, looks like Return of the Jedi falling behind The Empire Strikes Back, and you can vote at WMAY.com/poll. While you're at the website, don't forget to check out how you can win a $75 flight rebate from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, celebrating 75 years. All you got to do is answer a trivia question correct, and you are registered to win a $75 flight rebate through Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, it's been a bit since we talked with Kayla Graven from Downtown Springfield Incorporated, and glad to connect with her now to find out all the great things that are going on in and around downtown. Here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. Kayla, thanks for taking time with us. How you been out there?
Hey, I've definitely, the DSI team has been out and going to conferences to learn how we can make our community better and bring back all these great ideas. So thanks for having me this morning.
No question about it. And a lot of things happening, new businesses. You've got some businesses, closing up, but being replaced by others. Everything from restaurants to boutiques and even more. So a lot of activity. What's on the docket for downtown Springfield heading into the much warmer weather that we're all anxiously anticipating?
Oh, yeah. We're ready to get out the house, and downtown will be coming alive. May's the best time to come downtown. So May 13th is the kickoff, really. Fat Ass 5K will be down here, so make sure to get registered for that. Also, the following weekend is one of the busiest weekends in downtown in May, which is the launch of the Old Capitol Farmers Market. The outdoor season will be back. We'll have our ribbon cutting at 9 a.m. and with incredibly delicious providing cake that day. So I'm super excited about that. The farmers market coming back. We had a lot of vendors apply this year. So we have some of your old tried and true favorites, and we also have some new ones, such as a new smoothie person. We have some new baked good people and even new growers coming into our market. And then also on May 20th, the Old Capitol Art Fair is happening, and Pride is taking place down here. So that'll be a really busy weekend for us.
So tons going on. Of course, we'll keep you updated on all of the latest Springfield happenings as they come up and are on the Downtown Springfield, Illinois community calendar. Kayla, for people who want access to that and to see what else is coming up even later on down in the line so they can make their plans, where can people find all that?
You can go to our website, downtownspringfield.org. Always go to our Facebook, because that's the page that really keeps up to date the fastest too, to reach out in case anything changes. Weather does happen, and so we try to keep people as informed as quickly as possible. A couple of the things that we have coming up that I want to make sure people are staying engaged with is our continuation of the Downtown Medical District Master Plan happening. So right now we're at the point of we've done our homework. We have done the research of what is happening currently right now in downtown. So we're getting to the point of the planning and the recommendation portion. So I invite the community to join us on May 18th at the Memorial Learning Center at 5:30 p.m. To really see where we're at with that plan and also provide your input for where the direction you want to see the downtown medical district go. And another thing that we have coming up is Love It. It's going to be coming back on June 1st, and the announcement should be happening later this month.
And looking forward to the live music on the Y Block. So that's the 11 amp concert series. Back at it. This is the third year?
I think it's the fourth year.
Oh, wow.
So we've been doing this since 2019. We did take a semi-pause in 2020. We did a couple online, but we were back in 2021 and 2022. But this time we have the opportunity to have it for 3 more seasons. So we'll go all the way through 2025.
Wow. So again, there at the Y Block, 11 amp concert series, just something else on Downtown Springfield Incorporated's calendar. Kayla, what role, and finally here, what role does Downtown Springfield Inc. think play in what is going to happen with that Y block? Right? I mean, a new city council's coming in, a lot of ideas out there. What do you think is the role of DSI in all of that?
You know what? We're going to continue the role that we have been playing, right? Is activating that space, showing people how they can engage with that space, and coming up with great ideas on what that could look like. So always making sure that that space is being utilized in the shape it is today, and then helping people realize what the potential could be for that block. And I do believe that that will be discussed in the master plan too, on some recommendations from the planning firm.
So a lot to come with Downtown Springfield Incorporated. Kayla Graven, again, thank you so much for taking time with us and joining me. Even though I'm in a remote location, you're in a remote location, so I think it worked out well. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll connect again in the very near future, all right?
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks so much.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, now at 8:30.
92.7 WMAY. Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Federal officials say 2 10-year-olds are among the 300 children who worked at McDonald's restaurants in Kentucky. The Labor Department says it's fining the owners of 3 Louisville franchises a total of $212,000 following its investigation into wage theft and underage work by minors. One of the franchise owners says in a statement that the 10-year-olds were just visiting a parent on the night shift. The investigations are part of an ongoing effort by the Labor Department's Wage and Hour Division to stop child labor abuses in the Southeast region. McDonald's called the reports unacceptable and deeply troubling. The Kidseum of Health and Science is getting the money it needs for roof repairs, but the process of securing the money proved to be a nail-biter. The Children's Museum in downtown Springfield had sought approval of an $88,000 city grant on emergency passage Tuesday night, saying it needed the funding before its bids on the project expired, which would have resulted in delays and additional cost. 8 votes were needed for passage, but Ward 3 Alderman Roy Williams Jr. voted present. Williams said he felt no need to support a project in Alderwoman Lakeisha Purchase's ward when she's voted against several key projects in his ward. But at the last minute, John Fulgenzi, who had participated in the meeting remotely but had dropped off the call, was recruited to call back in and cast the deciding vote in favor of the Kidseum project. A Beardstown city worker has been arrested on charges of theft and official misconduct. The arrest of 41-year-old Melissa Espinosa resulted from an investigation launched in January by Illinois State Police at the request of Beardstown city officials. The state police obtained an arrest warrant Monday, and Espinosa was booked on 2 counts of theft and 1 count of official misconduct. A press release from Illinois State Police did not indicate how much money was involved or what position Espinosa had with the city. Espinosa is currently free after posting 10% of a $100,000 bond. Springfield's fire chief is offering more details about what his firefighters faced as they responded to Monday's deadly dust storm pileup on Interstate 55 south of Springfield. The fire department's hazmat unit was dispatched to the scene for a report that a tanker containing hazardous substances had caught fire. Chief Brandon Blau says it turns out the report was erroneous, chalking it up to the chaos and confusion in the early moments after the chain reaction crash. But crews did have other hazmat issues to deal with, including a semi that caught fire while hauling a load of lithium batteries, which began to explode from the heat. More than 20 Springfield firefighters on the scene also worked to keep spilled diesel fuel and other hazardous materials from getting into nearby streams, at one point using pallets of kitty litter from one of the semis that was disabled in the wreck to absorb the spills. Fire crews also helped to extricate crash victims from the vehicles, working in near-zero visibility conditions because of the dust and smoke. 7 people died and dozens were injured in that multi-vehicle crash about 20 miles south of Springfield. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
It's the high-tech way to save big money on your heating and cooling bills, and you could win it right now from MB Heating and Cooling. MB is giving away a free Bryant ecobee Smart Wi-Fi thermostat system. Smart, as in a smart sensor that keeps your important rooms comfortable by adjusting the thermostat based upon the occupancy and the temperature in the room. That's automatic savings up to 26% on heating and cooling costs while still keeping your room comfortable. This is expertly installed by MB Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Electric, a Bryant factory authorized dealer. With the advanced ecobee system, you can control it from anywhere through your iOS and Android device. It's even got built-in Alexa, so you can ask it to play the news or your favorite music, check the weather, and so much more. What a great system, and it couldn't be easier. Just go to the MB Heating and Cooling Facebook page, like and share the post, and you're automatically entered. Got to get in by Friday for the chance to win from MB Heating and Cooling.
From the Shawnee Forest to the city of Champaign and beyond, our Health Alliance members come from all over Illinois and all walks of life. But they have one thing in common. They're part of a powerful alliance that puts community first. Because Illinois isn't just their home, it's ours too. For over 40 years, Health Alliance has been covering members like their family. With more in-network providers, more personalized help, and a service team that goes the extra mile. Visit healthalliance.org/together to learn more and enroll.
Hi, I'm Ed Lex, your Springfield Edward Jones financial advisor. There is nothing more important to me than understanding what's important to you. Only then can you and I work through our established process to build your personalized strategies and the specific actions needed to help you achieve your financial goals. I'll continue to partner with you and your family throughout your life, revisiting your goals and risk tolerance, as well as the strategies we develop to help keep you on track towards your goals. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Listen and watch interviews with the biggest newsmakers. Subscribe to 92.7 WMAY on YouTube.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Nice spring day today. Sunny skies, high near 75, low around 53 tonight. Tomorrow, afternoon and evening showers with a high near 66, low around 54. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 75, low around 61. Sunday, chance of showers, high near 86. And Monday, chance of showers, high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Hats off to our donors. Right now, when you donate blood, we'll give you a limited edition navy blue Impact Life baseball hat or a $10 gift card voucher to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a gift. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
It's the 5K for everyone. 92.7 WMAY invites you to the Fat Ass 5K and Street Party for Charity. Saturday, May 13th, a race route that includes beer, corn dogs, donuts, ice cream, live music, and more. Register now and save $10 when you use the code WMAY at fatass5k.com. The Fat Ass 5K and Street Party, May 13th, with a taco joint, Trey Covington, State Farm Insurance Agent, and 92.7 WMAY.
Welcome to Green Certified West, where the cars we sell are simply the best. Located on the corner of Veterans and Isles, our certified vehicles will make you smile mile after mile. We've got a team that is just plain fun. Our GOAT Squad is ready to get the job done. Have you heard of the GOAT quote? We're buying cars that'll make us gloat. Simply log on to greencertifiedwest.com and take a look. Your instant GOAT quote offer will be off the hook. So would you shop for your next ride with the GOAT Squad at Green Certified?
Look, we all change over time. So it's pretty frustrating when a photo of you guzzling a few beers back in college suddenly pops up in Google search results all these years later. That's a reputation ruiner. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Pro, with some steps to take to get a hold of that situation. First off, is the photo being hosted on a website? Try reaching out to the webmaster and asking them nicely to take down the offending photo. Make sure you contact the owner directly. And if you're not sure who owns a website, do a Who Is search, as in whoiscommando.com. Next, request the removal of the search result through Google Search Console. Keep in mind this only removes the result, not the actual content from the website. And if sign up now at getkim.com. That's getkim.com.
You can Google anything, but you can't Google trusted advice.
And that's why millions just like you turn to Kim Commando every day on national radio, television, and USA Today to help protect and secure your computers, smartphones, televisions, and most important, to keep you and your family safe from hackers and scammers. If you're not already getting Kim's free breaking security alerts, you're missing a critical component to living in today's digital age. You can sign up now at commando.com/subscribe. Kim sends these free email newsletters to your inbox only when data breaches could expose your personal information. And when hackers find new ways to break into your computers and devices, Kim is always looking out for you. It's easy and free to get Kim's breaking security alerts. Go to commando.com/subscribe. Enter your email address and that's it. That's commando.com/subscribe. Commando.com/subscribe.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
The Illinois legislature in session, making things happen, passing all kinds of bills, and one bill that has passed both chambers deals with grants, taxpayer-funded grants, for public libraries and how those could be held if the public libraries that have locally elected boards funded by local taxpayers, if they don't comply with a national organization, then they could see state tax dollars withheld from those libraries. If you remember, this ultimately came up in the Illinois House with State Representative Anstava Murray back in March, talking about the bill, passing it in the Illinois House. Here's how that played out just a few weeks ago.
This bill protects libraries from external attempts to ban certain books and would make libraries and library systems which fail to disallow the banning of specific books ineligible for state grants starting in 2024. Just last year in my district, that discussion was spurred on by a few radical parents and the Proud Boys hate group over a book called Genderqueer. All too often, we see the books targeted by these hate groups and radical fringe parents are books having to deal with LGBTQIA plus identities or Black and brown authors.
There's time and space. I love that. We're in the middle of an election season for library board, which is, I think, April 4th this year. The electorate has had months of time and plenty of space to make a determination how they want their library boards to move forward for their local communities. I find this a complete assault on local control and on parents, again, whether progressives or conservatives, libertarian, Green Party, moderates, or whatever other characterization you'll make. These people volunteer as nonpartisan elected local officials. And for the state to tell a local library board, listen to the professionals, follow the professionals, I don't understand why we have local elections anymore if a bill like this passes.
So again, that was State Representative Marty McLaughlin talking about his opposition to it, fearful that it's going to take away local control. And that's something that was brought up yesterday on the Senate floor when they ultimately passed this. Here is Laura Murphy talking about the bill and all the things that she says the bill will do if it ultimately is passed on to the governor for his signature, which it did pass the Senate yesterday.
That the following basic policies should guide their services. Books and other library resources should be provided for the interest, information, and enlightenment of all people of the community the library serves. Materials should not be excluded because of the origin, background, or views of those contributing to their creation. Extremely consistent with the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Illinois. Libraries should provide materials and information presenting all points of view on current and historic issues. Materials should not be prescribed or removed because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval. Libraries should challenge censorships and their fulfillment of their responsibility to provide information and enlightenment. Libraries should cooperate with all persons and groups concerned with resisting abridgment of free expression and free access to ideas. A person's right to use a library should not be denied or abridged because of origin, age, background, or views. Libraries which make exhibit spaces and meeting rooms available to the public they serve should make such facilities available on an equitable basis, regardless of the beliefs or affiliations of individuals or groups requesting their use. All people, regardless of origin, age, background, or views, possess a right to privacy and confidentiality in their library use. Libraries should advocate for, educate about, and protect people's privacy, safeguarding all library use data, including personally identifiable information. Consistent with the Constitution, all of the Library Association standards meet constitutional requirements, and librarians across this diverse state participate in that.
So a lot of interesting things said there, and I think a lot of people can get on board with that idea of making sure that these types of resources are available to everyone, regardless of their race, creed, color, gender, or even political persuasion. And that's something I think, are you going to see pushback against, say, a religious group, a Christian group, wanting to hold a book reading that might rub against what others see as possibly offensive, or conversely, the other way around. You hear a lot about these drag queen story hours. Is this meant to protect that? So, of course, the idea of having these publicly funded resources available to all, obviously very important. But Republicans see this as a way of the state possibly using a third-party national group and a library association of sorts to dictate from top down, taking away local control. Here is State Senator Jason Plummer from the Edwardsville area on the Senate floor yesterday reacting to this particular bill.
Pushing an ideology on Illinois citizens, regardless of where they live, regardless of what they believe, simply by stripping away local control and taking power away from local elected officials. It's offensive to the principles of good government to threaten to take away public funds from the very people whose taxes pay for these grants, just because certain politicians may not agree with their beliefs. How much do your constituents pay in taxes to support their local libraries? How much do your constituents pay in taxes to support their local schools? How much does the American Library Association pay to support our local libraries and our local schools? The organization that we're turning all of our power over to. Duly elected library boards, chosen by the members of the communities they serve, carry out their obligation each and every day, year in, year out, to increase literacy in our communities, and they do it without this book ban agenda being foisted upon them by random unelected organizations that the sponsor of the bill can't even identify. This is, I don't know if you've read it. In fact, this book's probably high on the ban list after this goes into effect, if it goes into effect. But this is like Fahrenheit 451 level stuff. I mean, this concept would make Ray Bradbury blush, if you're familiar with the book. I oppose this ridiculous legislation, just as I opposed your attempts to strip curriculum decisions away from our locally elected school boards and to take zoning decisions and zoning powers away from our locally elected county boards. I think it's important as a body that we take our role into account and we think about what we're doing, just like I hope our locally elected officials do as well. A yes vote on this bill does two things that I think everyone in this chamber should really think about. One, it deprives local taxpayers of the very revenue that they spend to support their local schools and libraries, and it allows unelected and unidentified random people of some organization at the national level to ban books, to set local policy, and to usurp the authority of the local elected officials that our constituents voted into their position to make decisions on their behalf. None of your constituents voted for this random organization. None of your constituents are funding this random organization. They're funding their local libraries, they're electing their local library boards, and you're taking the powers away from them simply because you may not agree with their beliefs. And I think that that is a very frightening path for the state of Illinois to take.
And again, that's State Senator Jason Plummer opposing this bill, but the bill being supported by the Secretary of State of Illinois, the state librarian. And here he is yesterday after the passage out of the Senate, it passed both chambers and now could be sent to the governor. Here's Secretary of State Alexi Janulius.
If books are banned, Illinois libraries will not be eligible for state-funded library grants. Specifically, Illinois libraries must demonstrate that they adhere to the American Library Association's Bill of Rights, which indicates books should not be removed if they expect to receive state funding from this office. This right to read legislation will help remove the pressure that librarians have had to endure from extremist groups like the Proud Boys, who have targeted some of our libraries and their staff. This first-of-its-kind legislation is important because the concept of banning books contradicts the very essence of what our country stands for. It also defies what education has always been about, teaching our children to think for themselves. Ray Bradbury, the acclaimed Illinois author who wrote Fahrenheit 451, was once quoted as saying, "The problem in our country isn't with books being banned, but with people no longer reading. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them." And that's where the real danger lies.
So again, interesting to hear both sides of this. Cite an Illinois author, Ray Bradbury, who was really writing about censorship and the problems that arise from those types of efforts to limit books or to inject certain materials even. Because censorship doesn't just happen by withholding. Censorship also happens by injecting and putting in certain narratives that might be contrary to other popular narratives. So obviously that's now passed both chambers after passing the Senate yesterday. It's queued up for the governor's desk. I imagine he'll sign it, and there'll be a big signing ceremony, so more to come on that particular issue. And we'll get to a lot more legislative activity with the State House in session until mid-May. So they got a couple of weeks to finish everything up, including passing a budget, which is the top issue that they have to address. So we'll unpack all of that as the legislature continues on. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Coming up next, we'll close out the show. My first broadcast from the home studio. I think so far it went pretty well. We'll obviously see what kind of bugs we can work out. But coming up next, we will talk with Crime Stoppers coordinator Drew Zabados. So stay tuned. That's on the way here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Now at 8:51 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
Unpunished crime. Do you wonder sometimes if you're... It's hard to know the real answer, but it's easy to make sure that you and your family are more secure. Barcom Security protects by minimizing response times. When trouble strikes, you're backed up with a live person who takes your call 24 hours a day. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
If you prefer banking online,
You'll love Heartland Bank's mobile banking app. Check balances, pay bills, transfer money, and deposit checks anytime, anywhere from the convenience of your mobile device. This fast, free, and secure mobile banking app puts access to your personal accounts in the palm of your hand. Download Heartland Bank's mobile app from your Apple or Android App Store today. Heartland Bank. Visit us at hbtbank.com.
Member FDIC.
You hear a lot about influencers these days. Well, the personalities you hear on our radio stations have been influencing purchasing decisions at local businesses in Central Illinois long before it was a hot new marketing buzzword.
Hey, my name's Kyle Hutchinson. You can just call me Kyle. I am a lifelong Central Illinois resident, grew up and still call Chatham my home. I've been on these airwaves in some fashion for the last 12 years, and I would love to endorse your product, your service, your business. I'm just a mid-30s new dad who loves tinkering around the house, loves a good craft brew, a slice of pizza, and spending time with my family watching local sports and movies. I've endorsed everything from HVAC companies, gyms and fitness, home electronics, and a national cable company, and I'd love to support and endorse your business today.
Make a bigger impact with your marketing dollars and pair your business needs with the right local influencer and campaign strategy. Learn more about all of our local influencers and start the conversation today at MidwestFamilySPI.com. That's MidwestFamilySPI.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
No matter where you live, what you make, or who you voted for, there are some things that will impact all of us soon. Whether you're concerned about the alarming increase in man-made disasters, financial institutions collapsing, or worsening food shortages, Americans are preparing in numbers not seen since World War II. What's changed is how we prepare. And the folks at My Patriot Supply have made it easier than ever for you to have peace of mind, knowing you're ready for what's next. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and stock up on over a dozen emergency food kits. These include tasty breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, fruits, veggies, meats, and snacks, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one kit per person. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. My Patriot Supply food kits are in stock and shipped discreetly. We've seen too many Americans let down by institutions we used to trust. It's time to rely on ourselves. MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, here we are, tail end of this live broadcast, my first day back after having a week off, doing it remotely, and a few bugs here and there, a few kinks, but I think we pulled it off all right, including taking a call now from Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard County Coordinator Drew Zabados to give us the update on what's going on with Crime Stoppers. Drew, take it away. What you got for us today? All right, back at it. Apologize about that. Just went off there for a moment. Drew Zabados, Crime Stoppers coordinator, apologize, but go ahead and tell us what you got going on at Crime Stoppers this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Greg. Again, these catalytic converter thefts. This time we're looking to assist the Chatham Police Department. They've had 6 between the dates of March 12th and April 27th, resulting in $4,000 in losses. 3 of them occurred at Iron Gate Storage located on Mansion Road, and 3 of them occurred at Oaks residents, one in the 100 block of South College, the 400 block of East Chestnut, and the 800 block of North Park. The suspects walked right up into the driveway and cut the converters out and left. If you have any information, we do not have any pictures or anything at this time, and we certainly do need your help. Please give us a call at 217-788-8427. That's our anonymous tip line. You can submit a tip on our website, cashfortips.us, or use the P3 mobile app. And, of course, we do pay up to $2,500 for any information leading to an arrest.
And people can also find out more about Crime Stoppers and get details on fundraisers. And you can find all that at cashfortips.us, cashfortips.us. Get the details on this crime of the week and the previous crimes of the week, and you can help solve crimes here in Sangamon and Menard County. Officer Drew Zabados, thanks so much for taking time each and every week. Be safe out there, all right?
Thanks, Greg. Take care.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. That's all I've got for you today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, live and local, and appreciate everybody chiming in and hanging out, and plenty more to come with a lot of moving pieces all over the place.